So I've got a quick little example here. And so I chose to use a math example that I barely understand, but I wanted to demonstrate that we have colleagues in all disciplines who are facing the same issue. I think this crisis has brought us all together in that sense. So think about how you can use images, evocative statements. You could use charts, graphs, tables, any communication of data that has an application or a skill based context. And then think about how you could show that to students and then still ask multiple choice questions about it, or ask them to explain their work, or maybe error analysis and short answers, or just true and false in terms of whether or not a procedure is being followed correctly, or whether data from a table, for example, is being interpreted correctly. So even though we have some very simple aspects of our quiz tool, multiple choice matching, we can use it with a higher level outcome for our students. And then I think finally, if you really look at the literature, there are three types of connections that we can expect our students to make with our course content. That's to text, that personal context. Oh, I saw that when I was in the field. Oh, I had an internship, or I'm worried about this when I do enter the profession at some point. Text to text. So think about ways that you could give competing or controversial or just multiple perspectives in passages or articles, and ask students to make connections to those opposing or complementary points of view, and then text a world. So here's something you read about, you're learning about at Towson, but this is in fact what it might look like out in practice in the field. And of course, the short answer and essay will help us measure those levels of outcome. I think there's sometimes the perception, or I'll even say misperception, that when we teach online, we can't teach more sophisticated content. And I think what I've learned after doing this for more than 10 years is I actually can get more sophistication and complexity from my students because they have more time and they're doing it without an audience of all classmates. You know, in large classes in particular, and we've got an hour and 15 minutes to teach, we don't really have time to let our students think and ruminate over something. And so I do want to make sure that people understand that quiz and test tool, it can be used in all sorts of levels of sophistication and complexity. And that is this is a line of questioning we've been getting in terms of supporting, how are those two tools used in Blackboard?